wrapped in white for a while, but that's still okay. And my friend Leisha Marie is going to lead us off with a little bit of singing. So please join in. These are easy songs to join in on, and I had the opportunity to sing with her recently, so it sounded like a great way to kick things off. Let's see. Hey, can everybody hear? All right. Let's see. And why don't you just grab one of these wipes? You can wipe it off yourself. And wherever you want to. Maybe switch places. Okay, here we go.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome someday. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe that we'll walk hand in hand it shall ring clearly today. And the words just simply say, I ain't going to let nobody turn me around. So many times we look at the obstacles that we face, and a lot of times we feel defeated, or we feel like things are bigger than us. So some of you might know it, some of you won't, but it's a very repetitive song. And it just says, ain't going to let nobody turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't going to let nobody turn me around. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land. One more time. I'm gonna let nobody turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. I'm gonna keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom land. That's what we're gonna do. Amen. And that's what we have to do. We have to keep on walking, keep on talking, keep marching, keep doing those things that we know are effective and those things that can bring us together collectively to bring about the change of things that we have. One last song I'm going to lead, and that's This Little Light of Mine. When we walk and when we talk, we're letting our light so shine. Why? So that men can see our great work, so that men can know what is capable of happening, certainly when we all come together. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. I'm
mind a little rain. Somebody hold.
I like the live streaming page.
We're coming right back. We're just getting umbrellas.
Good afternoon, everyone. I want to thank my niece, Mr. Lacey, with those spirited songs that she sung. She's always positive with her music. And I want to apologize in advance for having to leave, but I have a funeral I have to officiate at 1 o'clock, so I got to leave as soon as my comments are completed. First of all, I want to thank my friend, Mr. Howard Sweat, because for 7 to 8 years, I mean, he maintained this one-man vigil, this one-man protest, advocating for the removal of the Thomas Stonewall Jackson monument from the Capitol grounds. And to be honest with you, I never thought that we would really ever have serious conversation about this issue. And so I'm delighted that we're here today in solidarity for a righteous witness, for justice, and for the right thing really indeed to be done. You know, our motto in West Virginia is Mountainais Semper Libere. Mountaineers are always free. And we've never totally lived up to that ideal. We have the opportunity as West Virginians in this generation to propel us in that direction. And I believe that the removal of the Thomas Stonewall Jackson monument from the Capitol grounds could serve as a catalyst, an ignition source to really start create a movement where people could realize we can do better and that we indeed will do better because we have the will to do it. I hope that you can read what's on my hat and you don't get it twisted in terms of the hat that I have. What does it say?
We the people.
We the people. And this is about we, the people. It is about us, the people of the state of West Virginia. As a minister of the gospel of Jesus Christ, I don't judge anyone. And I certainly don't think it's appropriate for me to judge or to speak evil of a dead individual who cannot defend themselves. What I do think we have the obligation and responsibility to do to examine a person's work, their deeds that they committed with their lives. Thomas Stonewall Jackson, he made a choice, enter the United States military. He made a choice, go to the military academy. He made a choice to accept a commission in the United States military. He made a choice to take an oath to defend the United States Constitution against domestic and foreign enemies. Those are choices that he made. And then when the Civil War started, he made a choice to violate the oath that he had taken, the commitment that he had made to defend the United States of America against enemies, domestic and foreign, and he became a foreign enemy. He made that choice of his own will, and no one held a gun to his head. So I believe that he understood the choice that he was making would have some consequences. And of course, he died before the Civil War ended, but I do not believe that he would have expected that the people in West Virginia would erect a monument to him and put it on the Capitol grounds if they were to lose the war. I don't think he expected that. The choices that he made was his choices to make. Then the choices will lead to certain consequences. And it's inappropriate for the people of West Virginia to have a monument, a statue, to a person who tried to basically participate in the dissolution of the Union, but not only that, fought against West Virginia becoming a state. His choices have consequences. Now, I've heard people say that this is a part of our heritage. That's not correct. I agree with Mr. Tom Kraus. This is a part of our history. It's not a part of our heritage. The people in the western part of Virginia, which became West Virginia, made a commitment that they will be true to the Union. And even though West Virginia came in as a slave-holding state, I believe they understood the consequences of uniting with the Union, and that if the Union prevailed in the war, the slavery would be abolished. And what we have the opportunity to do, we have the opportunity to move West Virginia from the past, move us in the present, and to propel us toward a future where everyone in our state is not only tolerated, but celebrated and indeed valued. We have an opportunity now in history. This is more than merely a shallow thing that we're embarking upon. It has powerful symbolism, but it also has powerful substance that the least diverse state in the United States of America, that the least diverse state will be sensitive to its small minority population and their feeling, that the least diverse state would recognize it's never too late to do the right thing, that the least diverse state would recognize that we are the people of the state of West Virginia, and that we don't want to hold on to anything that would suggest that we condone or tolerate racist or racism. So this is a defining moment, in my opinion, for the great state of West Virginia. I tell you, I've never been so embarrassed in my life to be from West Virginia, except in two occasions. I close with this. One was during the 2012 primary election. I was in a major meeting in Washington, D.C. the day after the primary, and they were acknowledging where everybody was from. And I got up and said where I was from, and the whole group of people burst out into laughter. The reason they did that, because in the 2012 presidential election, the Democratic Party in the presidential election, 40% of the Democrats that voted in the primary voted for Keith Judd, a convicted felon in a Texas federal penitentiary, rather than voting for Barack Obama. That's on the record, and that's the way we are viewed as West Virginians.
Disgraceful.
Another time was a few years ago, 6 or 7 years ago, when the 9 martyrs at the Mother Emanuel Church in South Carolina were martyred. You remember that very well. And there was conversation, discussion all over the country about the Confederate flag and about Confederate monuments. And our governor at the time, Earl Ray Tomlin, who lived in that house right across the street, had a major statement to the press, and he said there will be no discussions in West Virginia about the renaming of Confederate monuments or statues, and no discussion was had during that period of time. So now, here we are now, 6 or 7 years removed, and the state of the Virginia Commonwealth, the capital of the Confederacy, the home of Robert E. Lee, they have taken down the statue to Robert E. Lee in the town square. South Carolina, historically the state that had the most brutal, barbaric, and inhumane form of slavery in the United States of America. They have taken down the Confederate flag in South Carolina. So tell me how we, in Georgia, Mississippi, the cradle of the Confederacy, have taken down the Confederate flag and they're designing a new flag. So tell me how the state of West Virginia, the 35th state of the Union, the only state that came into the Union during slavery in June the 20th, 1863, how is it that we have yet to take down this statue to Thomas Stonewall Jackson? It is past time for the people of the state of West Virginia to demand that the statue come down. And let us keep lifting our voice to that end. And the last thing I would say simply is this, that slavery was first and foremost an economic institution. It had a spiritual underpinning, it had a social underpinning, it had a cultural underpinning, it had a political underpinning. But slavery was first and foremost an economic institution. So as we go through these exercises of renaming schools and reforming police and removing statues, we must recognize that we must move to the second stage of reinvesting strategically in distressed places where people are living and really hurting. And that's why I'm encouraging people to support our idea for the Hope 2020 Economic Justice and Equity Fund, to demand that Governor Jim Justice set aside 20% of the $1.25 billion in CARE Act funds to go toward addressing poverty and other social determinants of health in the 222 census tracts around this state where people are living in distressed situations. We've got to move not only from this moment, but demanding economic justice and demanding it now while there's money in the treasury. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you so much to Reverend Watts for coming out. And we got next Mavry Davis, who is a young activist, also a CPA, right, Mavry? Financial genius. So, boy, I'm just so excited. I'm even more excited about the speaker after him, but give it over to Mavry. are here for a trial, right? So we're gonna bring it back to that moment right here. We're putting General Stonewall Jackson on trial, and by the end of my remarks, we should be able to make a verdict on this gentleman. So, terrorists, betrayal, treason, words like those should be what we think of when we hear the name of the Confederate General, Thomas Stonewall Jackson. And our final speaker, Cam, will give you a jury of his peers the opportunity to pass judgment on this man based on these charges. Here we have a statue on our state capitol grounds and a bust within the rotunda idolizing a man who was held to have been a great Christian leader. But he believed that God provided for the institution of slavery because, you know, that was just the human condition. Yes, we seem to have forgotten that what men like Jackson stood for, from the cruel separation of families to the widespread slaughters of indigenous peoples. These men have caused so much pain and suffering. So, let us reflect on the times of Confederate rule in the South. So I'm going to paint a picture for you all. In the spring of 1859, at a horse race track outside of Savannah, Georgia, more than 400 enslaved people, 2 and 3 generations deep, were auctioned off in the largest sale in U.S. history. The man and the wife might be sold too. Hold on, give me a second. The pine woods of North Carolina, their brothers and sisters be scattered through the cotton fields of Alabama and rice swamps of Louisiana, while the parents might be left on the old plantation to wear out their weary lives in heavy grief and lay their heads in far-off graves over which their children might never weep. Most enslaved people experience sales and separations 4 to 5 times in a lifetime. Rape, murder, fear, exploitation. That is what these men fought for, and why West by God, Virginia formed as a state in its own state in the Union to reject that brutal way of life. So let us put a stockade, a whipping post, an auction block below Jackson's pedestal as a reminder of who he was and what he fought to uphold. Why should we revere Stonewall Jackson? Because of the accident of his birth somewhere around West Virginia.
Born in Virginia, too, not West Virginia.
Yeah, Clarksburg, Virginia. So until a few short weeks ago, we had a school here in Charleston named after Stonewall Jackson. So had he had his way, instead of a just education system, 50% of the students would be hiding in shanties learning to read by candlelight. Had he had his way, 50% of the students would still be providing free labor while the other half would be cracking the whip. Had he had his way, instead of his name being written on their jerseys, they would have been branded in these young men's skin. Let us give thanks that together as a community, we were able to change the name of that school. So that is no longer a mark of shame for those students or for our community. The bottom line is our children should be taught the truth, that the modern United States was built on stolen indigenous land by stolen African labor, no mills without plantations, and no railroads without reservations. Those two basic historical facts remain at the foundation: extermination and enslavement. That might seem harsh, but history is harsh. And perhaps it's time that we do something tangible to put history in the proper context. There is only one right thing to do here. Let's ask ourselves, would we want schools named and statues erected after bin Laden? No. We don't support terrorists, and we definitely don't idolize them. So we're going to do the right thing and take down the statue. We're going to take down the statue. So please join me in welcoming our next speaker, who was very instrumental in making the community's voice heard about the school, Cam.
Cam, you got to talk like real loud and keep this pretty close to your mouth, but I just sanitized the heck out of it, so there you go. Just press that button and talk loud, talk close to the mic.
Hello?
Louder.
Hello?
Closer to your mouth.
Hello?
Yeah.
My name is Camden. I want to thank Mr. James Cochran for inviting me to speak today. I'm a student at the newly named Westside Middle School, which was changed from Stonewall Jackson Middle School. West Virginia is the only state born from the Civil War. West Virginia is split from Virginia and the Confederacy, so why would we have a statue honoring someone who was for the Confederacy on our Capitol grounds? Why is Jackson being memorialized in our state? Most of the Confederate monuments were built in periods of racial conflict, when Jim Crow laws were being introduced in the late 19th century and the start of the 20th century, or during the Civil Rights Movement. West Virginia fought against slavery, not for it. I mean, Richmond, Virginia removed their statue of Stonewall Jackson. Baltimore removed their statue of Stonewall Jackson. How many statues are needed anyway of one Confederate that lost? These changes need to happen and need to continue to happen. These actions are important and show that I have a voice and you have a voice. Yes. We all have voices, and it's time for Governor Jim Justice to listen and time to change for the better. Remove all monuments that celebrate racial injustice. Maybe, just maybe, one day we can all feel equal. The time is now. The time is now to right the wrongs that have been done. The time is now to stop glorifying traitors. I said the time is now. Do you, a jury of his peers, find Stonewall Jackson guilty of the charges that have been laid against him today?
Yeah.
Woo!
All right.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much to everybody that helped with this today. Thank you to everybody who came out. Anybody that's watching online, we have quarter sheets of information about action items where you can call the governor, you can call the Capitol Building Commission. Let's get this done. So the last element of our event today is we're just going to take a little march past the governor's mansion. Cam's going to drop off a little packet for him because we have a petition of 7,900 names. We didn't quite get to 8,000, but it's growing every day. And we're dropping off the petition. We're dropping off a paper copy, because I'm old-fashioned, of the ACLU statement, making it very clear that the governor and the Capitol Building Commission have the complete authority to remove this statue at any time. They could do it in the matter of a day if they wanted to. So we've got to keep the pressure on them. And then we're going to go on to the Culture Center.
October 14th is their next meeting.
Well, October 14th is their next meeting technically, but they could hold a meeting. Sorry about that. I don't want to do the nose out thing. Technically that's correct, but I have been told that they can hold an ad hoc meeting at any time quite easily, and that is done in fact quite commonly if a tree should fall or an issue should come up. So that's why we got to keep the pressure on, because I don't want to wait till October. That's too far away. Yeah. So call those people, tell them what you want, don't stop speaking up, and keep coming out to these community events. And so anybody who feels like it, join us in our march. It's maybe half a mile at most, and just disperse from there. And thank you again so much to everybody for coming out today.
Last thing, how many people here know at least one person who's not registered to vote?
Yes.
Raise your hand if you know at least one person that's not registered to vote. So all y'all, everybody in y'all circle, y'all know they registered. Well, I'm going to challenge everybody to find one person in their community who ain't registered to vote and get them registered. One place you can start is riseupwestvirginia.org. There's information about voter registration there. The Secretary of State website. The
WACC, West Virginians Against Confederate
The
Commemoration.
WACC website is going to have more information about all of that. Like, take somebody to go take the census, take somebody to go get registered to vote that you know isn't registered. We got to focus on local elections. That's how we're going to change a lot of this stuff. And riseupwestvirginia.org has evaluated candidates up and down the ballot at local, city, state seats that we all need to be telling our families and friends about, and we need to get people who aren't registered. All right, that's my challenge. Find somebody.
All right, let's march.
Beautiful.
Thanks, guys. We're going to sing the Black National Anthem on our way down.
Yeah.
Let us march on.
Yes. We are, but can you wait till after we get back? It's only going to take probably half an hour.
Sure. You guys are going to come back here?
I will, because I got all my stuff here. So yeah, if you can wait half an hour, I'd love to talk to you. Awesome.
So are we going down to the...
Which way are we going?
Just right along here to the governor's mansion. Come on.
Okay.
Come on. And you'll stay up there with him.
Oh,
even northern ones. It don't matter. We're coming after all overt symbols of racism and oppression because we should have done this a long time ago. All of them are coming down.
That's right.
It don't matter where it's at. It's coming down. Might not be today. Might not be tomorrow. Might not be next week. But let me tell you something. We started on this one 5 years ago. Let's tell you a little bit of something about us. We're not playing anymore. Right or wrong. Either you with us or you against us. It's as simple as that. And we know all of the rules. We know they got a meeting, their little Capitol Grounds Committee. We know about democracy. So we're going to be at their meetings. We're going to be writing the governor. We're going to be writing the people who sit on the Capitol Grounds Commission. And we're going to be organizing the community. We're getting all of this stuff that's coming down. And not only we doing that, we're also getting people elected in different other seats. And we're going to be going after city budgets and everything to redirect economic resources into the communities where they should be. Like, we know all of the games. And we're going to do it, and we're going to play it better than y'all. Look at this. Organized. Organized people, organized money, organized power. That's what it is. Organized people, organized money, organized power. This is our generation's version of carrying the torch of the movement. They set us up to do things that they couldn't even imagine doing. We in places that they couldn't even imagine being. We are our ancestors' wildest dreams. We are that. And we're going to take all of this.
It takes him a minute to answer sometimes. I heard the governor was down south with Mike Pence today, so I don't know. All right. Well, let's just put it through the gate and trust that he'll get it. All right, we'll keep on going to the culture center. We have a second copy of that? We sure do. Because we're going to keep bringing it back. Yeah.
Push it more.
Push it more.
I toss it on the porch.
Come on, let's toss it up to the porch.
Somebody toss it on
All right.
the porch. Who's gonna take it? Give it a good.
Hold on, let me get a picture.
It'll survive.
Paperboy. I used to play Paperboy. Let's see how we can.
He can get it.
All right. Got a big jam.
No!
Oh man.
That's okay. That's okay.
Right where you wanted it.
Tatiana,
Culture Center.
get up here with your brother. Do you remember when the governor used to live in the governor's mansion? Wasn't that a cool thing? Sorry. We get king-size candy bars on Halloween. It was awesome.
That was a package. I'm very old-fashioned,
And
so
that's a horrible
this
place.
online petition with 7,900 signatures has been circulating, and it's getting more all the time. There's actually a petition to keep the Stonewall Jackson statue, and I think it's got maybe 1,500. So that was a physical copy of the petition, just so they can feel its weight and feel the names.
It is heavy too. I just
Yeah. It was
What song was she singing?
the Black National Anthem.
The Battle Hymn of the Republic. I just wanted to make sure I got that right. Oh, the last one you were singing was the Battle Hymn of the
yeah.
Republic.
That's a good one too.
I'll be back in the I'd love to interview.
Yeah.
What?
Well, I'm actually.
To your left, and you see Lincoln's statue there?
We're just going to the culture center. We gotta go around the corner here to get to it.
Okay, well, I gotta go back there.
Thank you.
Like it's so silly that you can standing in the shadow of the Lincoln Memorial, you can
Yeah.
see the Stonewall Memorial.
Yeah,
That's
so it is.
so unnecessary. Never thought about it.
They've got Lincoln all fenced up now.
No, not that. Oh, I love DC. Yeah, DC has a lot of Confederacy stuff up there because of the now around DC, you've got the
Yeah. Is there, let's see if we can think of another one to get us there. What about
okay.
singing at the back of the bus?
Yeah.
I don't know the words to that. Think of one that you know the words to. Not to put you on the spot.
Oh no, you're fine.
We did that. Yeah. Do it again.
You know your brain.
Yeah. Oh, amazing.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
I think we got to turn right up here.
Through many dangers, toil, and snares, I have already come. We've known less days to sing God's praise.
leave without me giving you this little packet of posters that I printed out for you. I got it back in my car, but I think you might like them.
James, you want to talk about where we're going and why we're walking over here?
So this is the Culture Center, the cultural heart of West Virginia, as it were. And it's also the office of Mr. Randall Reid-Smith, who I've become have had a lot of close contact with over the phone. And seems like a great guy. He's very proud of the work that his office has done to promote Black History Month. I believe he probably would like to move that statue, but he needs Big Jim's okay to do it. So that's where the Capitol Grounds Commission, the head of the Capitol Grounds Commission, his office is in here. So we're going to have Cam. We'll try to maybe get somebody to come out here so that we don't have to do all the temperature check stuff and accept the packet that we're delivering. Same packet, same petition, same letter, just letting them know. We really want this to happen as soon as possible. And I encourage everyone to go to this museum because you can see and learn so much stuff. If you like old glass bottles, they got old glass bottles.
You know what? That's where the statue needs to be in the basement downstairs.
Put it down there.
Like I don't understand why we have to have it out where everybody needs to see it. If it's downstairs, it's something that can be remembered rather than celebrated.
And put in context.
Yes, it doesn't have the proper context just being out there on its own. I know they're like, oh God, they're not all coming in, right? The science campus.
Packet. Thank you so much. Let me see that bullhorn for a minute, Alicia. So I just feel so inspired to see Cam and to know how he's become an activist at such a young age and to see him being supported by his family and his community.
Amen.
And I love feeling that nice, gentle rain because I started feeling a little worried earlier about the weather forecast, but I wrote down the Martin Luther King quoting Amos 5:24 and saying, "Let justice roll down as waters and righteousness as a mighty stream." So I think that's what we're all hoping for, and maybe Big Jim Justice will roll down the statue. And then just had one more John Lewis quote to inspire everyone, because if one random dude like me can get active and become involved like this, then I think pretty much anybody can. And John Lewis' quote was, "Do not get lost in a sea of despair. Be hopeful, be optimistic. Our struggle is not the struggle of a day, a week, a month, or a year. It is the struggle of a lifetime. Never ever be afraid to make some noise and get in good trouble, necessary trouble." So please, everyone, keep on supporting and keep on spreading the word, and we want to get that statue and that bust removed as soon as we can, so we can all feel a little bit more proud of our state. And thank you for everyone for coming out today, and bless you all. All right, that's it. Whose umbrella is that?
It's mine.
Okay, yeah, thank you.